Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Real Stocks. Checking out Bloom Energy this morning. Saw it mentioned somewhere else, thought I would recheck it out, and lo and behold, look at all this volume we have down here at the lows. This is actually looking pretty good for, um, well, it's looking pretty good. We have tons of volume here. Nice volume down right at the bottom. Some continuation here through the middle, and then a little bit more continuation here. NASDAQ, little up this morning. What's up, Daniel? Up a little bit this morning. Still toppy yesterday. I'm not sure if IBD considered it a distribution day. Let me go check. Haven't gotten that far this morning. Futures rise, Intel upgrade, blah, blah, blah. Okay, okay, that's not what I want. Where the heck is what I want? Where does it show me distribution days? They changed it. Well, just barely looking at it, looks like it could be a distribution day. Intel forms base. Let's go look at Intel. It's good to see Intel form a base. That was it gaps up because it got an upgrade. You have to pay to be with IBD. So you can get some stuff for free, but they do have a paid service that is $29 a month or $250 a year. And like I said, you get some stuff. I think you're able to look up their generic stock lookup field without doesn't have very specific rankings on some of their stuff, but on other stuff it does pretty good actually. So yes and no. I mean, it's, they have kind of a freemium business model, if you will. So investors.com, yeah. Okay, so I'm not finding what I want in terms of distribution days. See, that's Wednesday. Search for distribution day. The only thing I get is until the stock market starts showing meaningful signs of distribution or institutional selling, the market uptrend must still be respected. Well, duh. I think it's worth it, Ted. It's one of the only subscriptions that I have. I don't do a lot of subscriptions, and I do the IBD. I do $250 for the year, so it's like $20.83 a month. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I really like yeah, because when you so here's the thing, like if you don't subscribe, it's like I'll log out real quick. If you so if you don't subscribe and say go up here and you go to Apple, you get the quote right here. And that was blast you with promotions. You get the quote right here, but to get to the deeper rankings, like see here, it shows some question marks on some of these. It gives you all of this stuff though, which is pretty good, like ROE, 3-year growth rate, EPS change last quarter. Like it shows you some of the stuff here. It just doesn't show you all the stuff. You get a decent amount. One thing you don't get here, it looks like, is institutional support, which I like to see that. And then if I were to log in, and I'll show you that same screen, I'll see if those question marks go away. I think they will. Yeah, see, now these are filled in here. These are all still here. Nothing changes here, but it gives me the ability to click on this check mark. These other ones, this leaderboard doesn't work. MarketSmith won't work, but this check mark will work, and it gives you this. You also get the access to the eIBD, which I put out once a week. And so this gives you more in-depth rankings. Goes, you can hover over this for like 3 seconds. Their web experience is garbage. It's just horrible, but it's pretty good. ROE 50%, pre-tax margin 27%. So here you get the quarters of increasing fund ownership, percent and change in funds owning stock. These are some of the other ones that you get, but most of these you will get within that free version. I also just like to support them because I really like what they do. They've really helped a lot of people with investing. If IBD wasn't around, I don't know where a lot of people would be right now, to be honest with you. All right, so NASDAQ moving a little higher this morning. Market moving a little higher. I got a lot of green on my screen. Let's go to the reds. CASA down 17%. Obviously, earnings. ANIC DBD 5 pulling in here. Maybe a buying opportunity, but don't see a lot of bullish volume. May pass on that one. Baidu INSG. ACB was one I was looking at yesterday. It's moving up a little bit today. Didn't close very good. I never did anything with that. INSG pulling in a little bit today. Oh, some profit taking after a pretty big rally for the past 4 days. NBEV, the SIVB down here flat. Paycom up, ZTO up a little bit, which is fine. Eli Lilly. This is the most strange stock right now. I don't know what to make of this action, and I've got a very small position in it, but still, like there was no volume over here. Now I have a ton of volume, just a ton. Like literally every day has been above average volume since earnings. And I'm assuming that's a good thing because the price is moving higher. That's all I can assume. But it's not a lot of price progression higher. So I'm a little baffled by it. If I didn't have such a small position, I probably would exit. But each of these lows has been higher, and a lot of the highs have been higher too. So I have to assume that there's some accumulation and distribution. Just hard to know who's going to win out in the end. It is a big market cap stock, so this is basically a whale fight. The bulls are winning so far, and we'll kind of see how that goes. Anyway, so that's Eli Lilly. Paycom. Paycom's been coming back, performing pretty well. Broke out of that structure right there and consolidating again above it, which is also a very nice structure. I like that. SSNC, didn't mean to click on that. Okay, let's go to the big movers. Start at the top, take our way down. TTD up 25%. Boom on earnings. Look at that. Nice. Blew it out of the park. 25% beat on earnings. That's good. And look at that. If you'd have bought down there and held through earnings, that's the kicker right there, is holding through earnings. It's always difficult. There's going to be some profit taking up here. Roku up 12%. That's a lot. I was looking at Roku. Was it? Yeah, yesterday a little bit. Oh, because earnings. Yeah. That's why I didn't do anything. IQ, also earnings. Looks like they're moving, which is good. Maybe they'll form a base in a little bit here. Huya. We talked about Huya the past little bit. So they broke here. We had this trend line. They broke the trend line there, and then kind of off to the races. Earnings are coming up here. They're in the same sector as IQ, and IQ had earnings, which is probably why they're popping today. Acacia Communications still rocking. It's been kind of on a trip this whole week, and culminating in earnings today. We'll see if that trend will continue. HCC, one that we've had on here for a while, actually, even through the bear market, noted it was maintaining higher levels, breaking through today on earnings $7.11. That seems excessive. Why is that so huge? Second quarter last year was big at $3.40. That's a lot of earnings. Like, seriously, that's a ton. HCC, it's... Okay, so there's a cup with handle. There's your buy point, actually. Right there. And this should be a first stage base or a double bottom or a bigger double bottom on HCC, meaning it's barely breaking out right now, and the volume just started, so It's a little low. Let me look up HCC. I think last time we looked it up, it had just green across the board. It did. Okay, it did not. Its ranking is 63. Earnings are 30% change last 3 quarters. Average EPS growth is 16%. Pre-tax margins 36%. ROE is 81%. That's very good. Not a lot of institutions picking at it. So I'm not quite sure which one takes precedence here because you have a cup with handle right here, a fairly definitive one, but I guess there's no major prior uptrend, so this should be considered a double bottom because this low undercut this low, and so your buy point on Warrior would be over the middle here, so technically it hasn't broken out yet. It's working on it though. So I guess it just depends how you view that. If you're in crypto, this is a cup and handle. If you're in stocks, I don't think it is because there's no prior uptrend. This should be a double bottom. So your buy point would be right there. And we did not undercut, so technically this would not be a first stage base. But with a bear market, from my understanding, everything resets to a first stage base. So there you go with HCC. Let's take a look. Seeing some distribution this morning, which I think is probably warranted in a coal stock. Never really super bullish on coal stocks. I need to redo my checklist here with other things. Okay, 222. Let's do this. Sorry, I've got a list that I'm maintaining. I was going to do one for every day, but I'd be wasting a whole paper if I did that. I wrote one thing down yesterday. HCC, let's put that on here. Yeah, see, so far stopped at that breakout point. No tremendous volume coming in here for HCC. We'll come back to that one. I've got it written down. Right, 3%. NOAA. A couple other ones jumped up in here. Looks like VIPS. NIO. Looks like returning after a nice little pullback. Earnings coming up. It's hard to jump in these in front of earnings. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Let's take a look at NIO here. This could be good for a little small pop. Consolidation maybe coming back into highs again. Well, recent highs, I should say. So we kind of popped above here, consolidated, made a higher low, supported by the 50-day, maybe bouncing up a little bit. Decent volume throughout here. There was a little bit more distribution than I like to see, but good accumulation. Nice little green pop a couple days ago, and then a nice little gap up today. Is there any news? 220. Most innovative companies. Candy Technology. Okay. So, yeah, it's a low price stock. So it's kind of moving higher. Let's do 8.66. Let's do the high right there. And, that's not too bad. NIO, 8.66. I'm going to do 21 days out. I could even go to April and do 55 days out. And 7. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, you have to go through earnings for some of that. DBX rocking. Oh, no, it dropped. See, yeah, that's why it's dangerous to hold through earnings. This wasn't looking bad. This wasn't looking bad at all. It basically has gone straight up and was basically known as a frozen rope pattern. Dan Zanger kind of coined that term. And that's what that is right there, is a frozen rope. And then maybe breaking yesterday was a little bit of a sell signal, but after earnings, after this move, I think you should probably get out anyways. Okay, NIO so fun. Etsy, Noah. Noah with a decent pullback. They also have earnings coming up. 3.5. Was that a week or 2 weeks? Week and a half. Just under a week and a half. So Noah on a little pullback here. That's a pretty big volume sell. I'm not sure. I'm not helping. It's not my job to help, Eli. This isn't helpful stocks, okay? This is real stocks. I keeps it real. When keeping it real goes wrong. I should do an intro and I should put that. I keeps it real. I should do that in my intro. That's freaking awesome. That's one of the best things about the Chappelle Show, when that chick just goes off the handle. I keeps it real. What's her? Shonda had two choices. Number one was to hang up the phone. Number two was to keep it real. Oh, it's awesome. I miss that show. Dave Chappelle, you let us all down. You let us all down. Anyway, SLCA here. Right, Lori? Dude, that's the best show. That's like, I'm sorry, for my generation, I know each generation's got their own thing. For my generation, that was the epitome. That was the best thing. Now I'm getting happy. That was good stuff. That was good stuff. Thanks, guys. Whiting Petroleum earnings coming up, putting in a nice little top here. 226 earnings coming up in 4 days. Gonna be a little hard to buy this before earnings unless you have a little gamble play. You leaving, Blair? Freedom of speech for Dave Chappelle? Yeah, maybe. He did a few controversial things, I guess. Yeah. I don't know, his stuff's just funny. Don't really care about much else. Just hilarious. That's a good thing about comedy. I mean, you're really able to, especially this day and age, say and do all kinds of stuff that people wouldn't otherwise be able to articulate correctly. You know? You get these talking heads on TV, like, no, it's, people listen to comedians much more than talking heads. Wow, look at that XLNX. Hasn't really had a pullback a little bit there. A little bit of a frozen rope pattern, a little bit of a rising wedge pattern, but it's obvious this thing's being accumulated. Look at that volume right there. It's beautiful. Yeah, I agree. I think the freedom of speech, absolutely. I don't think our founding fathers thought about comedy. They just thought everyone should speak their mind, but it's really been comedy that's taken that step in the forefront. Yeah, you're able to say stuff. I don't know. I almost think that comedy speaks to truth because you can approach it from different angles. If you're a talking head on TV, and see, here's the thing. Like, I watch The Daily Show. I watch Stephen Colbert. I fall on the liberal side, but one thing I notice is that, gosh, where am I going with this? One thing I notice is that when the comedians make fun of the talking heads on other stations, it doesn't have to be just Fox, but they do it for a lot of stations. The talking heads, they try to bring out a valid point, and they're being sarcastic, but it doesn't show as sarcasm. Like, there was one last night. It's just an example on the top of my head where I forget what show it was on, but he was pointing to a Fox talking head about like murdering all the cows. Obviously, he doesn't think we have to murder all the cows, but he's being sarcastic, and it just comes off as, it doesn't come off as particularly thought-provoking from someone that isn't in a comedic setting. But I think when you're in a comedic setting, you can say kind of more provocative things that put things in a different light, which I think that you can't do without a lot further explanation. So anyway. Yeah, it's a little old. It's a little old. I'm not a Trump fan, but I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people think. You know what I mean? Especially on the left. He's the demon right now. Barack Obama was Satan reincarnate for the right.
Bye-bye.
Come here, give me a hug. Give me a hug, give me a hug, give me a hug.
Bye-bye,
You give me a
James,
hug.
you're not leaving, silly.
I want a hug from you. Give me a kiss. I love you. Have a great day. Go have a great day. Go have a great day.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, Mom. Yeah, so for the right, Barack Obama was the devil reincarnated, and personally, I think that's because he was black. And then Trump is the devil reincarnate for the left now, just because he doesn't present well. He doesn't present well. Anyway, back to stocks. Square up 1.5% today. Took it on the chin yesterday. No, it's cool, Nick. It gets a little boring just BSing about stocks every single day. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but I like going off on tangents from time to time while looking through charts. So INS lower. Manitowoc. We've been not really all over Manitowoc. Well, I guess I haven't been talking about it a lot here, but I've been eyeing it. I didn't buy the breakout. I'm not quite sure why, to be honest with you. I don't have a great explanation as to why. It's not even on my watch list, but this is what I do right here. That's my general style. Is I look for these huge trend lines in leading stocks to be broken, and then I like to take positions. So if I would have taken a position here, 12% I'd be up like 100% right now on my options. So not quite sure why I didn't take that position, but I did not. But Manitowoc looking good. If you get a pullback, one thing that these tend to do is they do tend to pull back, form a nice little consolidation, and if that consolidation holds nice and tight and you get a follow through, you can have some really nice gains off of that. So I'm really looking for consolidation. It's after earnings. The volume's increasing here at the lows. I do like that. So Manitowoc could be a potential. Lilly up 1.27%. Are you finally going to do something? And it's doing something right. Look at the volume. Wow, very minimal volume this morning compared to it's almost a half hour through. I mean, did the sellers finally disappear? Look at that, breaking through. What do you got? It's 82,000, 108,000. I guess it's not. See, I don't know where all this volume's coming from. I don't see it here. This, like yesterday, 21 million shares traded. If I add up these tens of thousands, it won't equal 21 million. All of these are under 100,000, except for that one and that one. And then you get up into 100,000. And then you get at the end 350. Then you get 1.4 million. I don't know. Maybe that does equal 20 million. But anyway, the bias has been to the upside on Eli Lilly. So it's finally breaking a little bit. We'll see if it can stay up here. It has a history of pulling back towards the latter half of the day here recently. We'll see if that stays consistent. NASDAQ's doing fine. Still supported by this 10-day moving average. We've talked about that a little bit. Look at that. All those closes above the 10-day. That's extreme bullishness. Even yesterday when it was looking bad in the morning, remember in the morning when we left, it was down here. It rebounded all the way back into highs, made a higher low, and then closed. So it never undercut that 10-day moving average, which I was kind of surprised about, actually. I thought we were going to undercut the 10-day, have a pretty big outside day. It was an outside day, but it wasn't that big. MJ coming back up to the pivot point. NetEase, Chegg, Teams, Starbucks, VMware, SIVB down again today. Yes, James. NBev, Shen. Oh, I lost track of Shen. I guess not really. Hold on. All right, so Shen looks like it derailed a little bit here. See if we'll get it back. Earnings coming up in a little bit here. NBEV lower, SIVB going higher. I feel like I missed, where's that other guy? ZTO, there you go. No, that's car. Where's ZTO? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. No, disappeared again. Okay, ZTO doing what it's supposed to do. All that volume right there getting with the program. So ZTO doing fine. Earnings are in a couple of weeks too, 312, so plenty of room to run on ZTO. It's looking pretty good. Still has some room to go. See the volume still elevated. As long as that remains elevated in that stature, we can keep those trend lines intact. Hit volume here, maybe take profits in a few days on ZTO. I like Lilly up 1.2. We haven't talked about Tesla in a while, but they've kind of been failing a little bit here. We talked about these channels, this triangle, this channel, and we broke out of that a few days ago. Kind of had a high volume down day yesterday. Not quite sure if that's a bottoming candle or a continuation candle. It's high enough volume where it could trigger a reversal, but it's also not high enough that it confirms a reversal. All right, kids learning to read in the background. Okay, ZTO, INS, FTNT. They were in a little bit of a consolidation. Started to break out past couple of days. Let's go from the top down. TTD holding up pretty good at 27. No profit taking. Good. Good. Acacia also no profit taking. Roku getting with the program on earnings. That's one of the ones I wish I would have got in on this when we were talking about this down here. Or even that right there would have been good, but this would have been excellent. That one you're up. Even if you close it out yesterday, you're up 22%. If you kind of held through, you'd be up here at 30+%. Apple looked like a good cup and handle. No, it is not a cup and handle. There's no prior uptrend. You just came out of a huge downtrend, so this is not a cup and handle. This would be considered a consolidation slash a flag pattern, bull flag, because this is a prior uptrend, and so this would be considered a flag, your buy point. There's no major horizontal level here like this. Yeah, see, they get everything wrong in crypto, but I mean, crypto is like stock trading on speed and crack, so things are wide and loose in terms of definition, but this is, in stocks, they're definitely more defined. But that would be your buy point technically in Apple. Now, at the same time, this would be your sell point down here. And you can see we're almost dead in the middle, a tiny bit above that middle point. So you basically have a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio from here to here. Now, if you were to arbitrarily enter a position, your risk down here is about 3%. Now, it's hard to say if Apple's going to continue going up. Actually, we just saw a little bit ago, I pulled up Apple right here in IBD, and they're losing some institutional sponsorship just because everyone and their mother and their brother is involved. So quarters of increasing fund ownership, 0. Everyone's already involved. Number of change in percent change in funds owning stock, -3%. So some growth has already taken, some growth funds have already taken profits, things of that nature. So I'm not sure if so Apple has defied all logic. It's been declared dead basically twice now, and this is kind of the, it was kind of declared dead here, kind of declared dead here. I don't know if I can declare it dead here again. It's pretty much defied. I won't say logic because it does make oodles and oodles of money, but it defies market, it defies leader cycle logic is what it does. And that's probably due to the fact that we're in the, the early stages of the technological revolution. If you think of the Industrial Revolution, it really rallied the market for like 70 years on the backs of that. You're talking GE, you're talking U.S. Steel, things of that nature. The not ExxonMobil is what it's known as today. The oil conglomerate back in the day, the Rockefeller conglomerate. So now you got Apple, Facebook, Google. That's our technological revolution. And so this may cycle back again, in which case this would be a pretty good place to enter. I don't think it would be too bad. If you're going for a trade, I think that your low is here. If you think of holding Apple for much longer term, I think you put your stop down at about 140 under this recent low. So probably a little more than you asked for, Daniel, but that's kind of my feeling on Apple right now. Think about Tesla at this level. Well, I think if you're picking at it, yeah, I mean under 300. I mean it can get down to 250. It's done so twice. I would have thought Tesla would hold up a little bit higher, but Elon hasn't been his frisky self usually, and I think that has kind of tampered the stock down a little bit, because usually you got Elon the fanboy, giving out all the news and stuff, but he hasn't sounded as chipper as of late. So here was profit, here was another profit. Now I feel like he's kind of laying off his sword a little bit here, and which is making the price action kind of decline. Just a little bit here. You see the red volume stepping. It was nice here after they declared the profit, and then you see red volume step back in on this earnings, or I'm not sure if that was earnings or a tweet or something, but he didn't sound as chipper one day, and then everyone started selling the stock. So that was before earnings right there. Are you quoting me an 80s song? Well, Tesla's a very hard stock to do that kind of analysis on, because I mean, look at it. It's the choppiest. This is like the choppiest stock in the market by far. I think in this level, you're right in the middle of a range, right? That's the problem here, is you've got a much larger range at play here in Tesla, and you're almost dead in the middle of it. So if you're willing to hold it as it goes down to 250, I think you're okay to slowly accumulate it. But if you have that much longer term bias, and this is what I've said this in Tesla for a long time. If you have a much longer term bias, I think Tesla's a fine stock. I think you can accumulate it and you get some good gains. I was hoping we would kind of maintain above this red trend line, but that hasn't been the case. It hasn't been the case right there. Yeah, so I wouldn't hold a massive amount of your account, but I mean max 25%, and that's even pretty big. That's pretty big there. But anyway, yeah, I don't mind Tesla lower. I don't mind Tesla lower. Okay, there you go. Hopefully that's a quarter of your account there. Now I will say this. You could just buy a Model X and then just chop off parts of the car equivalent to the percentage decline every day, and then yeah, it's a bad joke alert. Anyway, Etsy, what were they doing? They had that big pop-up the other day. I think I actually got caught up in that, and then just a huge sell, just sold off immediately. But look at that, didn't really go very far. Exactly, Eli. I know it. I know what I did. I know what I'm guilty of. You don't have to tell me. 8:06. I gotta go. I always have too much fun in stocks. Always. ZTO 1.1% today. Getting with the program. Hopefully that'll maintain higher. VMware. Looks like it's rallying. Another green day. This thing's never had a red day. This is not a red day. I'm sorry. I'm not considering that a red day. This thing has not had a red day. Okay, it had one red day right there in February. Just a tremendous, tremendous amount of buying pressure right there. That is, you want to know what accumulation looks like? Get as close to that as possible, and that's accumulation. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Earnings coming out 228, so be wary of that on VMware in a week, a little under a week. So take a little bit of, I would take some profits, at least partial profits, if not full profits before earnings, depending on how much profit you have. If you did buy from down here, our consolidation, you're up 13%. Not a bad little profit to take. But we also have another week before earnings, so we could keep going up for a little bit more. Probably get one larger distribution day before earnings, unless this thing is just really that strong. But VMware is just doing good stuff. SIVB pulling back. NBEV, CASA. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. Have a good day. Today's Friday, so I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you on Monday. Have a good one, guys. Have a good weekend.